Oktoberfest in München, Bayern und Süden Deutschland. So I just said hello and good morning. Today I'll be presenting on Oktoberfest in Bavaria, Germany, and in southern Germany. Oktoberfest is a 16-day festival that has everything from music and dancing to horse races and roller coasters. The event happens during the third week of September and ends in the first week of October. The first Oktoberfest was on October 12th in 1810. These days, Oktoberfest is a 16-day beer for all at Munich's historic fairgrounds, but when it got started 107 years ago, it was simply the world's biggest wedding reception, said Laston in the article How Oktoberfest Has Weathered Stormy Times, published in 2015. It was originally just the wedding reception for the marriage of Prince Ludwig I and Princess Theresa von Saxony-Hildburghausen. Every citizen of Germany was invited to join, and everyone loved the festival so much that they decided to repeat it every year afterwards. The festival is located on the fields in front of the city gates and is still located there today, but they are now known as Theresa-Wiese, or the Teresa's Fields, after the princess herself. According to the article Munich written by O'Donnell in 1959, Oktoberfest is one of the times when Munich is full and overflowing with life. Biergärtens, or beer gardens, are where most people go to get the full Oktoberfest experience, and it's where the parties are normally located at. There are huge tents with extremely high ceilings, filled with long tables that stretch for miles. There's normally a dance floor in the middle of the beer garden and normally a stage located for a band as well. In the Munich Oktoberfest, there's 14 main tents and 20 smaller tents you can go to. Each have a different atmosphere. Some are really fancy, some only serve wine, some are more for families, but every tent claims to be better than the next. You normally have to reserve your spot in a beer garden to be able to get a good seat. And the same 6 beer gardens that were there on the first Oktoberfest are still there today. As stated in the 27 Time magazine article, Everything You Need to Know About Oktoberfest, Oktoberfest is often associated with beer, but the festival's traditions go far beyond that. While beer tents, of course, provide drinks, they also play traditional Bavarian music. The typical music played at Oktoberfest is known as polka music in America, but in Germany it's called Schlager. Schlager music is anything with a strong downbeat, and when people aren't dancing, they're normally clapping on the downbeat or fist pumping. The traditional dances that most people do at Oktoberfest are known as a waltz if you have a partner, and if not, there's the German slap dance, which is done by men in lederhosen, and it is exactly what it sounds like, and I think the video is by showed you. So that was the traditional German slap dance. So what to wear? All the men wear lederhosen, which directly translates to leather pants, and they wear them because that's what people used to wear as traditional work pants. The women wear dirndls, which are traditional southern German and Austrian dresses. These clothes are only worn in southern Germany, and you would never see a central German or northern German ever wearing these. While the clothes are mostly worn during Oktoberfest and cultural festivals, it's not unusual to see a grown man grocery shopping in lederhosen. Oktoberfest is the best place to go to get traditional German food. There's of course copious amounts of pretzels and schnitzel, which is pork that's been pounded and then breaded. They also have bratwurst, but to eat it a traditional Bavarian way, you serve it with tomato sauce and then sprinkle curry powder on the top of it. There's also another food that most people don't know about, which is fish on a stick, which is literally an entire fish that is on a stick and is grilled, and people eat it off the stick all around the festival. For a common dessert, there's Schneeballen, which is also known as snowballs, and it's leftover pie crust that has sugar and cinnamon sprinkled all over it. Oktoberfest today, there's festivals all around the world. There's even multiple festivals in San Luis Obispo that happened earlier this month, including one larger festival at the Madonna Inn. Oktoberfest is the biggest festival in the world today. In the 2002 article written by Hans Nichols, it says that 5 million liters of beer, 350,000 chickens, 51,000 pork knuckles, and 77 roasted oxen were served at one Oktoberfest alone. As stated in Oktoberfest, written by Newsweek, published in 2004, Oktoberfest is still the best place to go to enjoy real Bavarian beers and a weekend full of accordion music and dancing.
Okay, how did that go for you, Sarah?
I think it went pretty good. I knew more than I thought I did with my paper, so I looked down, but I didn't need to look down, so I don't know what I did. I just had to look at it for the references.
Okay. Have you been?
I've been to Oktoberfest here before, but I wasn't in Germany while the Oktoberfest was happening.
Okay, anybody have any questions? At the ones here, did they have funny hats too?
Yeah.
Did they do funny hats there? Okay. Teammates, if you could please.
I really liked it. I loved how you spoke German and your accent was really good. So
Perfection.
Yeah. And then you really seemed like you knew what you were talking about, and you didn't really seem nervous. And I know you lost your voice, but you couldn't really tell. So
yeah, I thought that your credibility was really good, just in the accent and your intro. And I definitely learned a lot of things from this. I think this is from the speech because I didn't really know much about Oktoberfest. I had heard of it, but then you really I feel like you covered almost everything that anyone should need to know. You should know the basics. I thought it was really good.
Yeah, I really liked your intro too, and I thought that the article was really established credibility, and it was really organized and clear, and I liked the video too.
I thought you had very good visuals. Your PowerPoint was really good and showed the important things of what you were talking about, and your topic was really good and you gave a wide breadth of information, which was nice.
My knowledge of Oktoberfest before your presentation was literally beer and sausage. So I really appreciate that you brought this topic up. Yay, you got to actually do it during October. I really think your accent was. I met a German family in Grand Canyon, and it sounded very, very similar to theirs. So props to you on that.
Sarah, interesting topic and one to share for sharing with the audience. It's good to know, get to know a little bit more about something that's you know the title of, but you don't necessarily know the information behind it. So I thought you did well with regards to that. I think reading us in German helped to establish your credibility, and then as you pronounced certain words within the speech, you did it with correctly. So it helps further establish your credibility. We knew what we were going to be talking about. I don't know if I necessarily heard of pieces, so try and incorporate that as well, so that we can kind of track where you're going with it. I thought you had effective detail within your speech. The statistics and of how much food has been consumed, I think, sort of demonstrates the brevity of what happens in those 2 weeks. It's pretty crazy. So nicely done. I thought the conclusion felt a little abrupt. So maybe come back to speaking in German, saying goodbye, something along the lines of that. So yeah, you can kind of bookend it that way. Would be my suggestion. I would say with the video, I think it was good to show it. I would have probably just cut it down. It was a little long. yeah, you did. You came across conversational, and then you were also looking down a bunch. So make sure try not to talk while you're looking down. That'll correct that issue. But fun speech and very informative. Thank you.
I see what you mean now.
Okay, Kyle.